It is often said that people don't understand things until it happens to them. Well, Lennox-Gastaut syndrome was something I'd never even heard of, let alone understood, until my nephew was diagnosed with it. I've researched Lennox-Gastaut syndrome since the day my nephew was diagnosed with it, but experience has taught me more than an online website could ever could. Lennox-Gastaut syndrome is a seizure disorder. It's actually a rare form of epilepsy. According to epilepsy.com, it accounts for only 3 to 5% of epileptic children, which that's very, very small with the amount of children that do have epilepsy. It can be caused by too little oxygen at birth. It can be caused by brain malformations or injuries, but at least 30 to 35% of children have no cause. You can't trace it with anything, not an EEG, which is a test where they record your brain waves. Nothing, not blood work. It's really such a rare condition that you can't find what it's caused from. There's medicines that can't control it. It's pretty close to untreatable. You can't control it because there's so many different types of seizures. There's what we call head drops, where my nephew's head will drop, his arms will come out, his muscles just stiffen. There's convulsing regular seizures. There's what we call eye flutters. His eyes will roll in the back of his head. It's very, very quick, just like a teenager. You know, their mom tells you, go clean your room, you roll your eyes. That's literally it. But because there are so many different types of seizures, there's not just one medication that can contain or control them. So often, these seizures, my nephew has these seizures daily, and not just one medication will fix it. Although Lennox-Gastaut syndrome is rarely diagnosed and known by few, it still causes major personal, family, and social effects. Firstly, and most importantly, Lennox-Gastaut syndrome causes personal effects. Aiden has suffered from huge developmental delays. He can't walk, he can't talk, he can't even eat what he wants to, and he's 4. Not only does he have developmental delays, he can't function like a typical child. He can't play like a 4-year-old. So that causes very, very big personal effects. Secondly, Lennox-Gastaut syndrome affects the family. My sister pays over $300 a month for medication after her insurance. The co-pays for wheelchairs are over $500 a month with insurance. They've traveled to Detroit, Michigan. They've traveled even to Canada to go to different doctors because it's not a normal condition that doctors just know about. There's special doctors that have done research on it, but even the research is still limited. Not only is there cost and it difficult to take care of, there's emotional effects. You know, like we see an everyday little 4-year-old playing and talking and laughing, and you know, you sit back and think, we never got to experience Aiden's first steps or Aiden's first word, and he's 4. Not only does it affect his parents, it affects the rest of the family. I personally quit my job and my sister pays me because we can't just send him to an average daycare. My mom goes with Aiden and my sister every time that they go to a doctor's appointment because both of his parents can't miss work, and it's hard to take him in his wheelchair and his, you know, diaper bag and all of that by herself with a baby. Although it can be hard work, it's very, very rewarding. Aiden is such a sweet child, and he still laughs. He's so positive, even though he has this condition. He's not just a child that cries all the time, or, you know, he smiles, he laughs, he plays with toys that he can hit. Lastly, Lennox-Gastaut syndrome affects the child socially. Of course, the biggest social effect I think I've seen is when we take him somewhere and people look at him differently because he's 4 and he's still drinking out of a bottle. You know, they don't understand. There have been times that we've taken him to a restaurant and they've asked us why are we ordering food and eating in front of him and not ordering him anything. So a lot of times it's very, very difficult to deal with, you know, because emotionally that hurts us, and, you know, that makes us so angry, but people just don't understand. And of course he has to deal with that. Not only does it affect him socially by the way people look at him, but, you know, he can't go to daycare, he can't play with 4-year-olds. He doesn't really have a social life because he can't interact. So even though Lennox-Gastaut syndrome is rare and known by few, it causes major personal, family, and social effects. Not all of them are negative, however. Aiden is not the product of bad luck. He is a very special person with a smile that can light up the room.